So, hello, good morning, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well. This is George. I'm just signing in, tuning in, seeing how everybody was doing. It's pretty much just it's just a recap video for me because I'm pretty much just I'm just going to tell an account of what I'm having to deal with out here. Just some of the stuff and actions I'm seeing. You'll have to excuse me because I'm eating breakfast while I'm doing this too. I'm multitasking, but I'm seeing a lot of people out here doing stuff like they have really good intentions when they're doing it, but their execution is bad. And I don't know whether it's fear or paranoia or a little bit of both. But one example I had was so I had to deliver mail to a church. And it looks like the church had went into lockdown per se, and there was like 3 or 4 people standing outside waiting to go in. And I hear the one lady saying, "Oh, they're expecting me. They should open up the door. Da 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 da. This and this and that." And I'm like, wow. I'm like, should I even waste my time coming here? But I'm like, no, I got mail for them. I gotta go there. So I walk up to the door. Ladies knock on the door. So Asian gentleman comes down the steps and he opens up the door and. He opens up the door for the ladies and they walk in, and then I hear another voice from inside the building say, "As soon as you get in here, wash your hands. And it's just like the ladies were taking all the precautions I could see fit because they had gloves on. So if anything, all they would have had the need to do was take their gloves off when they came in. But this was like a huge point of emphasis. So as I'm trying to talk to the gentleman, I ask him, I'm like, "Are you all still accepting mail here?" And he says to me, "Who are you?" So again, you see what I have on, right? And he asks me, "Who are you?" And the reason why he said that is because he was scared. You should have seen the look in his face. It was true terror, it was fear. And that's what I'm trying to get people to get out of the mentality of being afraid. And the reason why you're afraid, the reason why a lot of people are afraid right now is because they're not informed, they're not doing their homework, they're not taking the time to fully understand what they're dealing with right now. So they're just anything that looks weird, they're afraid. And I really feel bad for people that we're arriving at allergy season right now because they're the ones that are gonna face, excuse my language, the most hell right now. Because anytime they cough or sneeze or do anything that may seem like anything related to the coronavirus, they're gonna be a little leery about letting you do things or talk to them or be up in their face. Which we should already be doing social distancing as it is, but it's just like that's just gonna make the situation worse because, like I said, it goes back to fear. And another thing I was observing and viewing out of people was the people wearing the masks and the gloves. It's like, so I'm like, in my honest opinion, I feel like if you're in an office building, you should have like a respirator or a droplet mask on because all you're dealing with is that recirculated air in the office buildings. But as far as most people, I won't say most people, as far as people being outside or just being outside, period, I think, my honest opinion, just based on how I've been conducting myself, because like I said, this isn't supposed to be wholehearted, like, opinion and advice on this, but I feel like you stand less of a chance if you're outside. But another thing I was noticing was watching people with gloves on walk around. It's like, again, I understand your concern and you wanting to stay safe, but it's like you're not really staying safe if. So one example I had, an older gentleman was coming out of a building and he had the gloves on. So he goes to his car, he opens up the car door, and he proceeds to put all the things that he had that he was handling with the gloves in the car and tried to proceed to get in the car. And I say, whoa, sir, like, stop. What you're doing right now? I said, if you're wearing the gloves, you're kind of defeating the purpose if you're getting in your car with the gloves on. I said, you should be taking the gloves off as you get into the car and putting a new pair on as you get out. And he was like, wow, I never even thought about that. You see what I mean? Like, people aren't really their intentions are good, but the execution isn't right. And then another thing that I'm seeing out of people that I'm frowning upon is the shaming of people for being prepared. It's like, I don't know, like I've been like doing my homework a little bit of time here and there as far as reading in the Bible, and it's just like, it's like there's certain stuff in there that just applies to real life. Like, you ain't got to be a wholeheartedly religious person, but it's like some of the stuff you read in there is like, come on, man, this makes common sense. It's like, they've been saying, this has been like a tragedy thing for years. It's like, you prepare in prosperity for times of bad. And if people had been preparing when there wasn't dire straits, there wouldn't be so many people right now afraid. You see what I'm going back to? Being afraid. Because now they're afraid that they're not going to be able to eat, they're not going to be able to pay their bills, they're not going to do any of that, because they were so involved in trying to be entertained and pursuing pleasure instead of doing their homework and preparing in times that weren't bad for the times that are bad. And I'm hoping and wishing people going forward now don't decide to do stuff in fear. Like, your fellow person next to you next door, that's your friend now. That is not your enemy, because the more people you have on your team trying to help you out, maybe pull resources, maybe pull money, maybe anything, like togetherness right now. We don't need people out here being selfish and worrying about only themselves, because that person you slighted yesterday could be the person to help you out tomorrow because you down and out. Like, any and everybody right now is your ally, and you can't live your life in fear. Just like, take the proper steps. If they telling you to stay home and you ain't got to be out here, don't be out here. Because all you're doing, because at that point you're being selfish, because you're only thinking about yourself and what you want to do and how you feel about the situation. Meanwhile, you don't understand that your actions could negatively affect the people around you. Like, hey, like, even because I'm even watching people that are like, it's like, if you feel weird, or if you feel sick, or if you feel weird, let other people know. You may not necessarily have the coronavirus, you could have the cold or something else, but let people know so their minds are at ease and they're not acting in fear, thinking you got the virus. Like, communication is key in all this as well. Like, don't be proud or be afraid because you feel like, oh, people are going to look at me all weird because I wasn't healthy and I got the coronavirus. No, man, we don't need that. That shouldn't be the case. Like, hey, man, it's like, if you're going to get it, you're going to get it. But at the same time, it's like, you did the best you could to prevent yourself from getting it. So don't be afraid to let other people know what you're doing, how you feel, or what precautions or guidelines that you're trying to use to keep yourself safe, because we all need to be informed and like I said, togetherness. This is not a time to be afraid. So again, like, hey, shout out to the healthcare workers, the people in my position, FedEx, UPS, that are still out here doing the job and doing it with the diligence and that we need. And another thing I want to hit home to also to our fellow postal workers, employees, that in spite of all these times, like, we are a reassuring face in times of dire straits. Like, if we pull up and we still putting the mail in the boxes and we healthy and that shows people that there is hope out here. The moment we start acting in fear or saying this or that, excuse me for the video being weird right now, that we're reassuring people right now that things may get better. Now I can't eat this because this just fell on the floor. That's that. I should have ate it while I had a chance. But again, like, I'm a postal employee. Shout out to y'all for maintaining some sanity in this, because, like, hey, we on the front lines out there. We got to deal with this every day. Every door we walk up to and we knock on, and the person comes there and they don't look right. Hey, that's it. And the only thing we can do is the best we can as far as the guidelines and protocols that was given to us, and also using common sense. If something don't look right, hey, that's a judgment call. Only thing you can do is come back and say, hey, I didn't feel safe about this going on, and leave it at that. Because I don't want to hit this home so many times, but your life is much more important than whatever, what's the word I want to use? Whatever ideas that you have about maintaining service. Like, yes, we are to maintain service, but use common sense while doing so. So again, folks, stay safe and come back, go home the same way you came back. And people that's at the house, if you don't need anything, stay at home. Have a good weekend.